All right, given we do have a very tight window of just half an hour, let's go ahead and get started. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for joining our session today to talk about Adobe Developer App Builder. To many of you, App Builder was previously known as Project Firefly. And as you guys may have heard just now during the main stage session with Lonnie, Michael, Ron, and David, we're officially announcing our plans to GA, which stands for General Availability for December 2021, starting with 8 p.m. Along this process, we're also getting our official product name, Adobe Developer App Builder, or App Builder for short. Next slide, please. Thank you. Today, I'll be joined by my true partner in crime through the whole App Builder journey, Meryl Blanchet. Meryl and I have both been on the project together since like day one. Meryl, do you remember when we first met?
We actually, yes, we met in Paris in our beautiful office there, and it was before the project started, a bit more than 3 years ago. We were having lunch together, soon to be partners, and we're having a passionate discussion about what cloud native applications could look like.
Okay, I gotta say, the French version sounds much better than mine.
With
Well,
the
I
accent,
do
of course.
remember. Right, I remember this lunch, but honestly, like what I had in mind was like we met in Bangalore about months later, I think, to kick off our week-long hackathon. We barely saw the sun. We talked about like we filled so many whiteboards, and our engineering team that just got together for the first time built many of the things I think that set the foundation for what App Builder is today. So during today's session, Meryl and I will continue to partner up. I'll begin with a short presentation on what is App Builder and when to use it. Then I'll hand off to Meryl for a demo to show you everything in action. We're also hoping to end with a little bit of time at the end for Q&A. If you do have questions, share them in the chat in the Q&A session. Our moderator will answer them as they go, and we'll try to go over a recap at the end. All right, let's dive straight in. So for everyone who have been working with digital experiences, you know how important it is for businesses to bring systems together and to integrate with a variety of services, devices, and applications. Customers who are creating a lot of content and data also want to be able to leverage them across multiple parts of their business, combining them in just the right format to deliver personalized real-time experiences for their user across a variety of touch points. As businesses look to integrate all of these touch points and services, they also need to be able to move very quickly. They want to try different things, make changes on the fly, and always optimize for their users. That means they need all the right knobs and Lego blocks in place to configure and to extend their Adobe solutions so that they can maximize their investment. And the time it takes to create these extensions and integrations has to be minimal so that they can continuously iterate and experiment as fast as possible. Next slide, please. Now, it is precisely in this context that we built Adobe Developer App Builder. Adobe Developer App Builder is a cohesive set of tools and services that enable developers to extend and integrate Adobe solutions all in one package. Starting with Adobe Experience Manager and coming soon for Adobe Commerce and Sign, App Builder helps customers extend and build applications that work seamlessly with Adobe products. We always call App Builder like a product built by developers for developers. As some of you may know, I came from a developer evangelist background, and developer experience has always been something super close to my heart. So in App Builder, we try to make it as easy as possible for any developer to create extensions and applications. No more 5 hours set of time before you can dive into the code and play with it. Meryl will show this in his demo a little later. With App Builder, you can get your sample Hello World application deployed for your organization within 15 minutes, going from Adobe Developer Console to our command line tooling to writing code and deploying your application. Next slide, please. Now, with App Builder, you can create both single page application as well as microservices. For single page application, We will embed your deploy application right inside the Experience Cloud shell for very easy user access for your employee users. And for microservices, you can easily integrate it and take it in different places to work with different systems and platforms. Next slide, please. Now, we built Adobe Developer App Builder with the following principles. The first one, as I mentioned a little earlier, how can we make you successful as fast as possible? Focusing on productivity and developer experience, we want to make it super easy for you to deploy and get started. Secondly, we want to be able to tap into things that you're already using. All the familiar tools that you have played with, things like Node, NPM, GitHub, all these things, we want to package it and integrate with it so that you can use all these familiar developer tooling with App Builder. On top of that, we also introduce additional Adobe-specific flavored tooling, things like integrated login, validation methods, as well as React Spectrum libraries, making those things a little easier to work with Adobe Universe. As you can see, we have a lot of things in the box, right? We call this battery included but removable. We want to make sure that all the things that you could possibly need in developing with App Builder is available for you, but you'll be able to easily swap it out should you need your unique CI/CD flow. If you need to swap out different services, you'll be able to do so very easily with our framework. We know how much of a headache it could be to maintain your own infrastructure and to devote a lot of devote a lot of DevOps resources into it. So we're taking care of all of that for you, making it as easy as possible for you to build cloud-native applications with zero infrastructure overhead. Additionally, it's all about community. We want to make it easy for you to also be part of this process. All of our toolings, all of our libraries, we're all built right in the open source. This makes it available for you to contribute, to work with us, to understand how these things work behind the scenes. We always welcome pull requests. I think it's one of Meryl's favorite things to say is, why don't you open a PR for this? And last but not least, we also want to make sure that App Builder works across all the components that is inside Experience Cloud. This means we're already having all of our integrated parts with Experience Manager, but we also provide SDKs for other Experience Cloud solutions like Analytics, Target, Experience Platform. This allows you to easily leverage these inside your application and work across the whole Experience Cloud. We see three main types of use cases when it comes to applications and extensions that people have built with App Builder. Starting from the first area, which is middleware extensibility. As I mentioned before, a key ask that we often receive is, how do you connect different parts within your ecosystem? Well, you can easily, that really fits into this middleware extensibility universe, and App Builder enables you to easily connect Adobe solutions with external systems, building any custom connectors or integrations that you need to make sure that things stay in sync. Secondly, App Builder is also great for core services extensibility. Think of things like workflows, like asset processing workflows, data transformation workflows, things that you might customize and extend within Adobe solutions. App Builder makes it super easy for you to build these out of process for accelerated process out of the core code, so that it's easier to upgrade your core services while still being able to extend these core services all to your needs. Last but not least, we have user experience extensibility. App Builder makes it easy to, we know that it's not just about the backend functionality. So user also needs to be able to use the tooling, both Adobe and non-Adobe, the best way that they can. This supports both business to employee use cases when it comes to user experience. So think of workflows like your design team might need to work with your marketing team. They need a UI to coordinate, as well as to like customer facing user experiences. For instance, you might need to build a server-side rendering so that you can support your customer-facing applications. These all fall into the bucket of user experience extensibility, which is the third area that App Builder really excel at. Next slide, please. We've been talking a lot about the word extensibility, right? I mean, this concept is nothing new within the Adobe universe. You've already been able to, build these out-of-the-box connectors or leverage the existing connectors. You can find that's services on Adobe Exchange. App Builder is now really introducing an additional path for you to extend Adobe products right in the cloud with a modern technology stack. At the current stage, we're really focusing on enabling our system integrator developers and enterprise developers. We understand that in solving this problem of accelerating and business values, making custom user experiences, these are really the developers that's in the front line building these and fighting through this battle. And we built App Builder to really enable you and accelerate your existing workflow. Now, before I officially hand over to Meryl for the demo, let me just quickly recap all the Lego blocks that comes with App Builder out of the box. First, we have a ton of developer tooling, starting with the Spectrum UI framework. This is actually the framework that we as Adobe also leverage in-house in building all of our experiences. We've made that open source so that you can leverage this to build applications that looks and feels like Adobe application. Secondly, we have additional custom SDKs that you can leverage, like I mentioned, to connect with different Experience Cloud products as well as other products. We made a command line tooling, command line interface to make it as easy as possible throughout the whole development journey. And we also created other embedded developer tooling like IDE plugins and debuggers that further supports unique development needs in deeper areas. Next up, we have Adobe I/O Runtime. This is our own in-house serverless compute framework. With Runtime, you only have to worry about your code as Runtime automatically scales and is positioned to be globally distributed. Last but not least, we offer some out-of-the-box developer services to fill any additional needs you might need in creating your own extension. We have custom events, allowing you to publish your own events and consume those events through webhooks or journaling mechanism. We also have additional developer services such as CDN, data and content storage, all those things right in the box for you to leverage. All right, now let me stop babbling through more additional slides and just have Meryl show you App Builder in action.
Thank you, Sarah. If you allow myself, I will just need some time to prepare my screen. Sharing the slides at the same time is not necessarily easy. But here we are. What I'm going to show you today in this session with Sarah is more at the high-level angle and the end-to-end flow when it comes to create, build, and deploy a Firefly an App Builder application. Sorry for the lapses. And right after with Manik, we're going to deep dive into more technical details. So the two sessions are bridging together from both angles. To create a new App Builder application project, I'm just going to the developer.adobe.com console. And I have the possibility here to choose to create a project from a template. This is where I'm going to click. And I can select this template here, which is to be renamed and rebranded into Adobe Developer App Builder very soon. Stay tuned for that. Once this is done, I can add my project title, which is Adobe Developers Live Demo. And you get a funny name, which is generated by default. If you need to override that, of course, you can do it. So that's what I'm going to do here. Something like that. And now I'm able to select the workspaces. By default, I have two workspaces available, one for stage, because deploying to production is never a good idea when it comes to build something. So you want to stage first. production for production usage, and for more complex use cases where you have a real development team working on a project and you want to have isolated working environments for local development, you have the possibility to create as many workspaces as you want for all the developers within your team. To keep the things easy right now, I'm going to work on stage and then deploy to production. Each of the workspaces gets runtime included, so you have a specific isolation that is done to deploy your microservices logic to our serverless platform. I'm going to save. The whole thing is live. So pardon me if there is some latency. The project was created successfully. Now I have the possibility to navigate to through the workspaces and, for example, select the stage one, where I can add some services to it. By clicking here, I can view the details, or by clicking here, I can also edit directly. I guess several of you are using the console right now. So I can click on the Add Service button, and I have the possibility to add either Adobe APIs, with which I want to integrate, or Adobe Product events that I would like to subscribe to. For today's demo, I'm going to select an API. Let's say I'm building some SPA that will deploy to the Experience Cloud shell, so experience.adobe.com, and this SPA might integrate some AEM API together with some Target API. So let me select Adobe Target. And I will just ask the console to generate a key pair for me as well in order to generate credentials later on. This is done. Next, I will select a product profile for my API. And that's it. The project is ready to be used. Now, moving into developer role, I will go to my CLI, my terminal, and I will use the AIO CLI to bootstrap the application code base. So for that, there is a command called AIO app init, and I can call it devlive 2021. To keep things very easy, we are defaulting to the stage workspace. So you still have the possibility, as you see here, to specify which workspace you'd like to use locally. But for the demo's sake, I'm going to stick to the stage one. So the CLI requires a login. That's why I'm redirected now to the login screen. And it is done. Going back to the CLI itself, I see now all the projects, all the organizations that I belong to, and I am able to select the Adobe I/O one that I was using to create this project. And I see directly here the new project I created. Otherwise, I would be able to just enter some keywords in order to browse the list and to reduce it through a search. Defaulting to stage, and select DX Experience Cloud SPA v1, as this is the kind of extension that I would like to build with the app builder. The whole basic structure of the application is going to be built. As you might have heard already, the whole SDK behind the scenes is open sourced, is based on Node.js. So everything is available as Node.js modules. And all the relevant dependencies for my project to be bootstrapped are getting downloaded right now and installed locally on my machine in the project folder. We also use human generators to let developers bootstrap an application that corresponds to a specific template easily. This is what's happening right now. And in the end, you will have a full-fledged SPA that will be ready to integrate with Adobe Target and to deploy to the Experience Cloud. Still there, almost done. And that's it. Sorry. So I'm going to navigate through my DevLive 2021 folder, which is the root folder for the application, and I will just open my VS Code. Let me make the whole thing a bit bigger. Much. Opening a new terminal. And you can see the structure which got bootstrapped. So we have a set of configuration files which are relevant for the application. We have a .env that holds the secrets. We have the package zone that is specific to the application itself. This one can be distributed as a Node.js module as well. We do have some technical config. I will not enter the details. What is important is the app config YAML, which states that we have one extension, which is for the Experience Cloud, and points to the config file specific to this extension. So if I open the folder, I see more about the extension code itself. I see the actions folder that holds all the runtime action specific code, which will be deployed to your runtime as microservices. I see the E2E and the test folders, which respectively hold the end-to-end tests and the unit tests for your runtime actions, with code coverage of 100%, just for you. Of course, if you modify the code, you have to update the test as well. And the WebSRC folder, which is the React Spectrum-based SPA that will be the front of your Jamstack app. In the extension config file, we have a bit more of things like the name of the web source folder, the name of the action folder, the description of the extension that we are building. This is all generated for you, and you should not worry about that. And then we do have the manifest definition for all the runtime actions. So if I add, for example, a new action to my app, I can choose what is available to my project in the developer console. Remember, I added the target service. I could choose also other products which are available into my org, but not into my project. So you need, of course, to add the services to your project. And I could also add even action types for products that are not belonging to my org in case I would like to try out. But of course, the organization needs to own the products afterwards to be able to integrate with them. So I'm going to select Adobe Target. And you can see that now there is a new action code that got bootstrapped with all the boilerplate which is needed using our SDK to integrate with Adobe Target using a Swagger client and showing how to use, for example, one of the API endpoints that are available through Adobe Target. Everything is documented with JS docs, so you see that you have proper API documentation. You get the HTTP request management, logger management, error management, everything handled through the SDK. So pretty convenient to start with. Now this is done. Next step would be that I modify the code locally, that I run the application as you might have seen in Dave's demo just before. To keep things very straightforward, I'm just going to deploy it. The runtime actions will be built. We are using Webpack by default for that. Bundled. And the front end is going to be built as well using Parcel and deployed to our CDN. So right now we are deploying the actions to and we are deploying then the assets to the CDN. And the application is available. So if I just pick this link here, we have many links output. We have links to the action endpoints directly if you want to just curl them or use Postman to test them. We also have links to the application deployed to CDN without any Experience Cloud context. But the most interesting link is this one, which links to the application deployed on your stage environment in the production Experience Cloud for test purpose. So let me just go to my browser and paste the link here. And the application is deployed, so you can see that the work context of production is brought. I need to move to the right org. Sorry for that. Otherwise, we will have a problem. I have my IMS profile being loaded. I have my product context being loaded properly. And this is my SPA. So I'm able to test one of the actions, for example, by selecting it from the dropdown, clicking on invoke. And what's happening behind the scenes is that the proper runtime action got invoked, and you get the response here for test purpose. So it's just to illustrate how Jamstack works with Firefly, having the SPA integrated runtime actions. I don't think we have time, Sarah, to go much further on the demo. What do you think? Should we take some time for questions?
You know what? Why don't we just quickly show perhaps an example application for how an application would look like? I think, Meryl, unfortunately, we won't have time to go over submitting your application for approval within your organization and having an administrator approve that through Exchange. But handing back to Meryl, perhaps we can show the end user part.
I can do that. So once my application is ready for production, so normally you don't do that at home. You would use a CI/CD pipeline. We support GitHub Actions by default, and you would deploy your production-ready app from your GitHub repo to the production workspace. You might want to go as a developer to your production workspace in Developer Console and click on Submit for approval. This would launch an approval workflow in which your org admin will be notified and will have to go to Exchange to see the list of pending applications which are to be reviewed, could decide to review one of them, and check for any missing information, could also check for the application itself. This app is not fully available, but if it was published, there would be a link to it. Enter the comments, either approve or reject. And once the application will be approved, it will be available for your org users directly in the Experience Cloud shell by going here to be rebranded into App Builder catalog, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you see, we already have some pieces here which are rebranded. The application will be available here to your end users of your organization for usage.
Thank you so much, Meryl. Why don't we end on our resources screen from the presentation? Hopefully, half an hour is definitely a little short for us to cover the whole journey, but hopefully this gives you a quick overview of everything that's available with App Builder, how to get access to it, as well as a little bit of the experience. We definitely encourage you to sign up through the trial program that is pasted in the chat. We hope to see more of you, and please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or want to talk more.
Thank you very much, everyone. See you right after in the next session.
Cheers. Bye, guys.